is carried by WUNC Chapel Hill. Today is Monday, November 27, 2017, and we will be reading the news from the Monday News Journal. Hope caught up in a redraw map. Special Masters redrawing of legislative districts impacts county. Proposed voting district maps released last week changed the boundaries of State Senate District 21, which includes all of Polk County and part of Cumberland County. If approved by court, the maps would move Spring Lake and part of the city of Fayetteville into the district. State Senator Ben Clark III, a Democrat from Polk County, has represented District 21 since he was first elected in 2012. After expressing serious concerns with voting district maps approved by General Assembly earlier this year, the United States District Court for the Middle District of North Carolina sought the help of Stanford law professor Nathaniel Persley. The court named Persley special master and asked him to redraw several of the state's voting districts to cure the unconstitutional racial gerrymanders. The court specifically ordered Persley to redraw State Senate Districts 21 and 28 and State House Districts 21 and 57 in order to remedy those districts' violation of Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. The document released last weekend. Persley is not redrawing districts for the entire state, but is focusing on those specific districts and others necessary according to the court's order. The court has also ordered redrawing of enacted 2017 State House Districts 36, 37, 40, and 41, and 105 because of the General Assembly, and redrawing those districts in the 2017 plan may have violated the provision of the North Carolina State Constitution prohibiting redistricting more than once a decade, Persley wrote in his draft report. As part of the court's order, Persley tried to create districts that didn't split as many voting precincts and that they are also more compact than the district maps enacted 6 years ago. The court largely forbid Persley from looking at the election results or taking increments into consideration in an attempt to keep the district maps nonpartisan. The maps of the General Assembly approved in August had the same local impact in Polk County, also leaving it in the District 21 and putting it entirely in District 48. However, Persley's map alters the boundaries for State Senate District as if it stretches into parts of Cumberland County. I don't hear my own mic.
I hear you.
Okay, alright. The Special Masters maps smoothed out previously jagged edges where District 21 and 19 meet in Cumberland County, and also moved Spring Lake from District 19 into District 21. It takes an entire town of Spring Lake as defined by the boundary identifying as a census-designated place, or CDP, and just enough of Fayetteville so as to comply with one person, one vote. The boundaries of the district are determined by the shape of the precinct boundaries, Persley wrote. The proposed redraw also leaves out Silver of the county that was added to the district to include Clark's second residence. In August, a chance in the map extended the boundary line about 5 miles into central Cumberland County to include the house, which is currently outside of Clark's district. The house is in State Senate District 19, which is currently represented by Senator Wesley Meredith, a Republican. Clark's original residence is located in his own district, according to public records. State House District 48 currently is split into 2 larger State House districts, including Montgomery, Richmond, Robeson, and Scotland counties in District 66, and Richmond, Robeson, and Scotland in District 48. Currently, Representative Ken Goodman represents District 66, and Representative Garland Pierce represents District 48. Pierce and Goodman are both Democrats. In his draft plan, Persley did not change the Assembly version of the State House maps that put Hope County entirely in District 48, along with all of Scotland County. When the state's versions of the redistricting maps were released in August, Pierce praised the idea of shrinking the district he represented into a more compact two-county area. It's just a win for those two counties, so I can't argue that point, he said. A smaller district will allow the elected state representatives to focus more time and attention on Hoke and Scotland counties, and based on population estimates, a Hoke Scotland district would be ideal, Pierce said earlier this year. More info coming. The maps personally released last week are draft plans, and the court has final say on the approving them. Percy released the preliminary maps before the court's December 1st deadline in order to give incumbents who will be running for re-election time to lodge objections or make suggestions in the upcoming weeks before the court rules on the plans. However, the final plan will only accommodate such changes if they do not degrade the underlying features of the plan as expressed in the court's November 1st order, Persley wrote. The final version will have more detail explaining why the special master made each mapping decision according to the draft plan. Accompanying the final plan will be a report providing greater detail as to the plan's compliance with applicable law, a more complete explanation of the rationale for the special master's plan, and evaluation of the plan according to the metrics required by court's order, the document said.
Okay, ex-DSS worker charged with theft. Authorities arrested a former Hope County Department of Social Services employee last week for allegedly embezzling money from her former clients. Deputies with the Hope County Sheriff's Office arrested Ebony Latoya Campbell, 39, of the 15,400 block of Smith Road in Gibson on felony charges of embezzlement and 6 counts of obtaining property by false pretense. The Sheriff's Office received a report about a former DSS employee defrauding several of her current and former clients, according to a media release from the department. The investigation revealed that Ebony Campbell had defrauded numerous clients and former clients of hers out of various amounts of money, officials said. The alleged victims were Victor Arriaga, Lori Dix, Aldean Blue, Loretta Honeycutt, Michael Lyles, and Danetta Emery. Investigators obtained a warrant for Campbell's arrest and charged her November 14th. She was held under a $60,000 unsecured bond. Campbell was employed with Hope County from May 2013 until June 2017, according to the Hope County Human Resources Office. The Hope County DSS Board oversees the department's operations. And in another small item, alleged thief brags in text. That doesn't sound very smart. Investigators with the Hope County Sheriff's Office arrested last week suspects wanted in connection with breaking and entering cases. Authorities arrested Marisha S. Locklear, 25, of the 200 block of Mike's Trail on felony charges including breaking and entering, larceny after breaking and entering, financial card fraud, and 2 counts each of identity theft and obtaining property by false pretenses. Locklear allegedly broke into the home of Sabrina Wallner on the 400 block of Warner Road on October 4th, according to the Sheriff's Office. Locklear was accused of taking multiple personal items, clothing, and other property from the home. She was also accused of allegedly making over $1,000 in fraudulent charges on Warner's bank card, officials said. The investigation revealed Marisha Locklear had used a stolen debit card to make payments on multiple accounts under her name and had also been seen wearing stolen clothing items by several witnesses. The victim later reported that she had received text messages from the suspect where Ms. Locklear was bragging about the theft of the items, the Sheriff's Office said in a press statement. Locklear received a $5,000 secured bond. Locklear was also charged with multiple felony crimes related to another breaking and entering that reportedly happened August 2nd at the home of the 100 block of Crawford Wright Road. Investigators with the Sheriff's Office charged Locklear with 1 count each of breaking and entering, larceny after breaking and entering, and conspiracy to commit breaking and entering. She received a $15,000 unsecured bond in that case. Authorities previously arrested Richard Heath Warner, 31, of the 400 block of Warner Road on felony charges of breaking and/or entering, larceny after breaking and entering, and conspiracy to commit breaking, entering, and larceny in connection with the same break-in on the 100 block of Crawford Wright Road. Warner was arrested August 28 and received a $50,000 secured bond. Locklear and Warner were accused of allegedly breaking into an unattended shed belonging to Raymond Harris and taking items belonging to him. Locklear turned herself into law enforcement November 14th, the sheriff's office said. My goodness. Okay. Take it away.
Area pastors learn about security. Forming a security team, seeking training from law enforcement agencies, and locking exterior doors were all safety tips Polk County Sheriff Peterkin and officers in his department provided to hundreds of pastors and churchgoers from across the region Saturday. The Sheriff's Office held a special church security and safety training session last week in the wake of the recent church shooting at the First Baptist Church in Sutherland Springs, Texas, which killed at least 26 people. The office held the first training session 2 years ago, shortly after a shooting at Emmanuel African Methodist Episcopal Church in Charleston killed 9 people. Peterson and several of his officers outlined how to create a team of church members who maintain safety during services by keeping an eye on and addressing any unusual activity. Churches can decide to allow their properly permitted security team members to carry guns if they choose, but should let their local law enforcement agencies know that they are armed to avoid any confusion in facilities, including putting greeters force against any intruder. There are also simple ways to secure a church and its facilities, including putting greeters at all open doors to monitor who is coming in and going on, securing areas meant for children, and locking doors overnight to prevent any intruders from getting inside and hiding in some part of the church. Therefore, other things that pastors can do to help keep their church safe, too, like being aware of what's going on with their own congregations, Peter King said. Pastors, council members, if you got a brother and sister Jones, Brother Jones is beating on Sister Jones, she's got a restraining order out on him, he's out of the house, and her and the kids go seek shelter somewhere, I think the pastor should let the security team know they need to know what the pastor's dealing with in the case Brother Jones shows up at the church, Peterkin said. The danger to a church congregation can just as easily come from what's going on with the church members as if it can come from external scenarios, the sheriff said. Anything that you have to deal with that may be a little controversial, we need to know. We're not going to tell their business, but we need to be alert. We need to be watching because your problem may not come from the outside, it may come from the inside, he said. Madge N. Rebels suggested that the churches take the time to take a look at their own security issues before calling in the authorities to help formulate a plan. What we always ask you to do is to do a self-assessment. You need to go back to your place of worship and you need to role play with your place of worship and say, okay, what do we leave open on Sunday mornings or Saturday mornings or Wednesday nights or 7 days a week? How can you get in and outside of our facility? What are our weak points? What are our blind spots at our church? Everybody has them at their place of worship, she said. Then when we come, what we should be doing is confirming what you already know. Pastors and congregations who want to work with authorities can create a survey of their church and grounds. That can involve gathering blueprints and photos of every room, which police at a command center can use to guide officers to secure the building, having emergency contact information for the church leader, property manager, medical personnel, and members of the crisis response team in the event that is needed, keeping secured all keys to outside and classroom doors, and designated rally points for families and medical triage in the event of emergency. After that, law enforcement officials can pay a visit and offer their own suggestions and support. While there have been many incidents that took lives of churches across the country over the last decades, there are often a lot more incidents that end peacefully, pastors discussed. A number of attendees brought up situations that occur within their churches, everything from a member of the church choir punching a person sitting in the pews to an unknown person with a prominently displayed backpack behaving suspiciously during another church service. As churches greet newcomers and first-time visitors, pastoral staff members have to walk a line between being proactive to prevent harm to their congregation and overreacting to an unknown potential threat. A member from Grace Tabernacle Christian Center recalled what happened when an unknown man came in to the place of worship wearing a gun. We had a guy come in with a gun concealed, and when he first came in, he had a lady with him. We had never seen them before, and I'm the head of security there. I had one of the ladies come to me and say, "Hey, this guy has a gun," he said. The head of security checked with the pastor to see if he recognized the man in question. When he didn't, the security team member walked over and politely asked the man with the gun to take the weapon to his vehicle and secure it. The man did, and the church services went on as planned. It's all how you feel about your situation at the time. If I had jumped this guy, that could have been a crazy situation, he said. Churches prefer that their members not bring guns into the church. They can make the decision to post a sign at the door that concealed weapons are not allowed. Even when the sign posted, it's still fine to arm members of the church security team as law allows, Pitterkin said. For more information on securing churches or to request a visit from law enforcement, call the Hope County Sheriff's Office at 910-875-5111.
Now here's an interesting headline. Ungrateful Christmas coming December 2nd. This is by Catherine Shepard, staff writer. Local musician Ebony Peterkin, also known as Lady Sticks, will present a special Christmas production next month starring students from her Performing Arts Academy in collaboration with guest artist Tamira Butler and others. Ungrateful Christmas is inspired by and contains excerpts from Butler's book, Whisper Plus, an original collection of inspiration and motivational words of wisdom. Butler and Peterkin met at a church function some years ago and have worked together once before to bring Butler's writing to life. Now, Ungrateful Christmas, their second collaboration, is coming up soon. Butler is a military spouse and the mother of 3 adult children. She's always loved to write, and every quote in her book is to her children, she said. Now she's taking the time to integrate herself with her craft. Meeting Lady Sticks gave Butler the chance to have her writing play out on the stage. In their prior collaboration called Parent Catch, the art students performed some of Butler's writings about the challenges of children in blended families sometimes have to go through. In Ungrateful Christmas, Butler's words of wisdom combined with a thoughtful examination of what it means to be grateful at Christmas time. It's one of those things where you don't understand what you have until it's gone. And sometimes we as people, we allow time to elapse. And things that happen, my mom hurt her feelings, so I'm not going to go back home. My dad's rude or mean, so as long as he's breathing, I'm not going back home. But then you have someone who wishes that they had a dad, Butler said. Or you're physically capable of doing something that you take for granted and you don't want to. And then you find out someone that you knew all along had an illness you never knew about because it's always about you. Sometimes it takes the removal of something or that aha moment to get it right. Butler plays a major role, and there are also twists and turns to the story played out by Lady Sticks' students, along with dancing, singing, and musical performances. The children get to shine, and you get to see a new element of what Lady Sticks Musical Arts School is doing, Butler said. One of the stars of the show will be 5-year-old Layla Murphy of Hope County, granddaughter of Michael and Lena Murphy. Her grandmother Lena is well known as a longtime educator and a former basketball player during her years at Hope County High School. Murphy, who attends Rockfish Hope Elementary School, has been taking lessons at Lady Sticks Performing Arts Academy in Fayetteville for the last year. She's been learning to play piano and also practicing her dancing skills. My favorite thing about it is like singing in a parade, she said. The students have been hard at work memorizing their parts and getting ready for Ungrateful Christmas, but it's not too difficult, the young performer said. I get ready to perform and do my piano and do my parts and pray, she said. Besides Murphy and the others performing art students, the show will also feature several guest artists, including former High teacher Mary Long. Additionally, another Rayford local Hope High student, Tahone Williams, has joined the Performing Arts School as the hip-hop dance instructor. Ungrateful Christmas is set for Saturday, December 2nd at True Vine Ministries, located at 5315 Morgan Road in Fayetteville. The production offers an intimate seating arrangement with a maximum of 250 seats available for attendees. The evening will start at 6:30 with a special red carpet walk for guests. Photos will be taken and attendees are encouraged to dress up in their formal wear for the occasion. The doors will open at 6:45 p.m. and the show begins at 7 p.m. Tickets for Ungrateful Christmas are $20 and are available online at https://www.eventbrite.com, and that Brite is spelled B-R-I-T-E. Call 910-603-4347 for more information or visit https://www.ladysticks.com. That's LADYSTICKS.com. For more information about La Butler and her book Whispered Thoughts, visit her website at www.legacyofwords.com. Okay.
Schools getting new playground equipment. Polk County's elementary schools will get $300,000 in new playground equipment thanks to a financing agreement that will let the school system pay off the cost in increments over multiple years. The Polk County Board of Education approved the arrangement last week at a meeting Friday morning. The deal offers many kinds of playground equipment and enhancements at a total cost of 4 payments of about $87,000 or 5 payments of $67,000 at a 4.3% interest rate. The school system hired Barnes Recreation LLC from Morrisville to provide estimates on the cost and install the equipment. Each of the county's individual schools will receive equipment and upgrades in amounts of anywhere from $5,000 to $30,000. Starlock Elementary will receive new basketball goals, tetherball, soccer goals, swing mats, and store shed. McLaughlin Elementary will receive new swings and swing replacements for existing playground structure. Sandy Grove Elementary School will receive a freestanding slide and comet spinner for the older playground and kid force spinners for the young children's area. Rockfish Hope Elementary School will receive a new $12,000 playground structure and a soccer goal. Don Steed Elementary will receive playground equipment, kids known as Verb 5 and Verb Climber 6, plus soccer goals and nets for basketball goals. West Hope Elementary School will receive a Verb 6 and comet spinner and a set of portable soccer goals. Hawkeye Elementary will receive $14,000 playground structure, a $13,700 playground structure, soccer goals, funnel ball mats, and replacement tether balls. Work at Upchurch Elementary will be a little more involved with Barnes Recreation, removing the existing playground structure to expand the playground area and add a larger new playground at a cost of about $22,000. The school will also receive 12 new swings and circular rubber safety nets. Most of the school will also receive landscaping materials such as engineered wood fiber, improve the safety and appearance of the playground, as well as construction of ramps where necessary to make playgrounds compliant with the Americans with Disabilities Act. This is the Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service, a United Way partner agency. We broadcast from the campus of Fayetteville State University, and our signal is carried by WUNC Chapel Hill. As a nonprofit agency, we rely on public donations. We request your support to continue our services. When making charitable donations, please keep the SENCRRS in mind. Our post office box number is 35029, Fayetteville, North Carolina 28303. If you have any questions or comments, please call us at 910-672-1600 or our toll-free number 1-844-709-5656. Your radio hosts are Carolyn and Evelyn, and we are proud to serve you today.
Okay, I was looking, do you have the November birthday list over there? Because I don't see it here. We're starting with December, and that can't be right. Oh, here, November 26th. We've passed it. Sorry, no birthdays today. Well, somebody does, but we don't know about it. Okay, from Frog Holler Philosopher by Ron Huff. Whee! We're a choir, not soloists. As we seemingly move further and further apart, at least politically, I am beginning to I am beginning to wonder what we can actually all agree on. Or better yet, what we can agree on. As our political system fails us, we tend to blame our elected leaders, and they deserve a lot of blame. But they are not just puppets to the electorate. These puppets spend too much time trying to balance their actions, with the primary focus being re-election. It must be truly difficult figuring out what any group of voters might believe, much less want. Many politicians play this game, saying whatever they can get away with to earn votes. With no integrity to guide their actions, getting away with it is all that matters. Elections have always been about perception, and perception needs no truth. The antidote for lies is factual information that discredits those lies. The responsible voter must hold these lies up to the light and demand the truth. This takes commitment. We once get truth from limited media outlets, we once got truth from limited media outlets that relied on their own credibility to survive. If CBS or the News and Observer did not report factually, we would turn to ABC or the Fayetteville Observer. Crackpots, wild conspiracy theories, and blatant liars were denied these platforms. These people could write their views on paper and post them in public, but society could reject or ignore them. The reaction or lack of reaction was there to see. There was no internet where these same people could post opinions with impunity, which could be viewed around the world with no cost of publication. For every crackpot, there are hundreds more in the world who are just as crazy and willing to believe whatever might suit their fancy. The worst result these internet liars face is to be disagreed with behind the shield of the computer screen. Often they are reinforced by people just as misguided. If one seeks to be reinforced in their ideas, they can simply write or broadcast what they know to be popular views and wait for the accolades to come in and the viewers to line up. Unlimited TV stations are now available that do not rely on truth to titillate their viewers. Facts simply get in the way. They can create a circle of lies, willingly told by talking heads and self-proclaimed journalists to please an audience which is indeed pleased. Truth destroys the message. Political parties and divisiveness make this easy. What simple things can we actually agree on? Is the earth round or flat? While you would think everyone had been convinced of its roundness by reliable sources, including pictures from outer space, there are people who disagree. Some don't believe we have been to space. These people have formed their own opinions based on their own beliefs, but there is no requirement that their beliefs be based on anything. It is up to the individual to seek truth and build their beliefs around facts. The very definition of facts is now a matter of opinion, which requires no facts. In other words, our society has now given itself permission to believe anything, disregarding verifiable facts. What is verification anyway? Can a statement be verified by its agreement with accurately documented evidence or accepted principles? Not if there is conflicting evidence that was admitted or the, quote, accepted principle, unquote, is simply denied. Truth seems to be in the eye of the beholder. This is tolerable for ideological beliefs such as religion or even racism, but not for subjects like climate change, immigration, healthcare, or monetary policy. These need verifiable facts to guide our decisions. If we refuse to agree on facts, we cripple the process. If we simply accept the statements of others, especially in the absence of true journalism, we fail in our duty as citizens. Our electorate has been sliced and diced, categorized, compartmentalized, led down the garden path, and gerrymandered to the point that some elections aren't even needed to name the winner. When the people can be reliably seeded with lies that grow into misinformed votes, what are we to do? If we truly want what is best for our country, we first must begin to read off the same sheet of music. We are a choir, not millions of competing soloists. Facts are above political viewpoints and must be sought out on the basis for our actions. Our government might then work. More later. And I saw recently a 60 Minutes piece where they interviewed a guy whose business was making false news. Oh my! Who can we rely on? Okay. Evelyn?
Oh, I'm sorry. Coaches versus Cancer Shootout, Honorsboro. The Hope County High School boys varsity basketball team will take part in a special fundraising event this weekend in Asheville in honor of late Ray Burrow, who died earlier this year after a long battle of cancer. The boys team raised money for the American Cancer Society and will compete in the Coaches versus Cancer Shootout, hosted by the North Carolina Basketball Coaches Association in conjunction with the ACS. The annual event, now in its 25th year, brings attention to the fight against cancer and raises money to help pay for cancer research. The Hope County High team was invited to participate this year. Organizers asked the team to designate a person with cancer to honor through their fundraising and efforts. They had to choose someone to play in memory of, or someone who's currently battling cancer who has lost a fight. Molly Patterson, wife of Coach Quine Patterson, said, "It was an opportunity to help his students learn more about the world and gain some perspective," the coach said. "I thought it would be a great thing for us to get involved and for my guys to do something more than basketball," he said. "Cancer is real big deal in everyone's community. Everyone's affected by it some way, somehow." Pattersons reached out to the Burrow family, who happened to be friends of theirs. The Burrows documented Ray's battle against cancer in online updates throughout his fight. Despite multiple rounds of surgery and treatment, Burrow passed away earlier this year. However, his vow to fight duty against cancer became a rally cry for his family and many supporters. Ray knew about the Coaches versus Cancer event for his passing, Ms. Patterson said. "We were hoping and praying with his fight he would be able to attend and be a part of this with us this weekend. Unfortunately, it wasn't long after the team committed to the event that Burrow died. It was maybe 2 weeks later he was gone," Coach Patterson said. "Even though Burrow passed away, the Hope High players will still be able to hand over a check for about $1,500 they raised from local donations to continue the fight against cancer in Burrow's memory. It's such a great event that they put on and that we're happy to be a part of," the coach said. The team will drive up to Asheville Friday morning, participate in a special banquet Friday night. The basketball shootout begins Saturday. 8 games are on schedule for the Coaches versus Cancer Shootout, drawing teams from across the state competing in the fundraising event. The competition slate includes 5 men's teams and 3 women's teams. The Hope High Bucks will play the Christ School Greenies from Arden at 4 p.m. The Coaches versus Cancer Shootout is a national program that conducts events all across the county. Competition will be held at UNC Asheville. For more information, visit www.coachesversuscancer.org.
Okay, and we have just a couple of obituaries today. This is from the November 23rd issue of the News Journal. Vera Mae Baldwin, her maiden name Purcell, died November 12, 2017, age 88. She was born October 10, 1929. So the funeral was held November 17th at 1 p.m. at Laurel Hill Missionary Baptist Church in Lumber Bridge, with burial in the church cemetery. Rebecca Rogers died November 20th at age 78. She was born February 22nd, 1939. Louis Funeral Home is in charge of services. And finally, Ella Mae Porter Dukes died November 15th at age 83. She was born June 8th, 1934. The funeral was held Tuesday, November 21st at 1 p.m. at Freedom Chapel AME Zion Church, with burial in the church cemetery. And a small article, 2 super streets. Let's start again. 2 super streets proposed for US 401. The North Carolina Department of Transportation is considering a plan to turn 2 busy intersections in eastern Hope County into super streets to improve safety. The proposal suggests turning intersections of US 401 and North Parker Church Road and US 41 and Pittman Grove Church Road into superstreets. A superstreet, according to the NCDOT, incorporates the use of median leftovers, which eliminates the left turn from a side street onto a main street, and requires a vehicle that wants to turn left to instead make a right turn and then a U-turn. Oh my, fun. By limiting the number of conflict points between vehicles during traffic maneuvers, the potential for collisions is therefore reduced, State Department of Transportation officials said in a public meeting notice. The two intersections in question are currently uncontrolled by any kind of traffic light and force drivers who are trying to turn left from side streets onto US 401 to cross both directions of traffic. Because such an intersection increases the risk of collisions, North Carolina Department of Transportation proposes directing drivers who want to go left to turn right onto US 41, then go a short distance and make a U-turn. NCDOT is building more superstreets across the state because their design is safer, state transportation officials said in a press release this week. The NCDOT will hold an informal open house about the project Monday, December 4th from 5 to 7 p.m. at the Lake Rim Recreation Center at 1455 Hope Loop Road in western Cumberland County. The project is listed with TIP number of W5708G. To submit comments about the proposal or seek additional information, contact John Grant, an NCDOT Regional Traffic Safety Engineer, by 1561 Mail Service Center, Raleigh, North Carolina 27699-1561, or 919-814-5127, or J.H. Grant at ncdot.gov. Public comments are due by December 19th. NCDOT will provide auxiliary aids and services under the Americans with Disabilities Act for disabled persons who wish to participate in the meeting. Anyone requiring special services should contact Caitlin Ridge, that's C-A-I-T-L-Y-N, Ridge, at CERIDGE1 at ncdot.gov or 919-707-6091. Persons who speak Spanish and have a limited ability to read, speak, or understand English may receive interpretive services upon request prior to the meeting by calling 1-800-481-6494. Okay, Evelyn?
King Flowers and Students Rose Grant. A nearly $4,000 grant from the Lowe's Home Improvement helped students and staff at Donski Elementary School start something new growing on their school campus last week. The original idea was to plant some trees in a large playground field used by the 4th and 5th grade students during recess. Music teacher Marion Elliott said the school has playground equipment on the one side of the building for the younger children, but the opposite side is a little bare. This playground has been an open field, so it's always sunny, but sometimes in the summertime it's so hot for the kids. Elliott said, so we thought it would be wise to have some shady trees. A grant from Lowe's Toolbox program allowed the school to buy 16 tree saplings, mulch, shovels, watering implements, and other supplies for the project. The saplings include oaks, maples, and one dogwood. The project was a team effort between teachers, administration, parent volunteers, and students themselves. Elliott wrote the grant and secured the funding payment. Parent volunteers dug the holes for the new trees, and 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders did the planting. The students also got a lesson in gardening from the North Carolina Cooperative Extension staff, Coral Culture Event Shannon Newton, and several master gardeners gave the students instructions on how to properly plant the saplings. 12 of the young trees went into the ground on the bare side of the school, while 4 spread their branches near the playground for younger students. Each of the school's classmates is responsible for caring for the tree they planted, and they'll water it and take care of it. Some of the kids were mentioning they had never planted anything like this before. Elliott said it was really meaningful for those who help him with it too. Project, it fits in well with the school's efforts and positivity. Principal Kim Gray said it's all about making the world a better place. I think our positivity project that we implemented in the last few years and really just showing that other people matter and the world is going to be a better place, and taking care of it and adding this to beautify our grounds, she said. School was also able to buy a number of flower pots and some bulbs and potting soil, and the kindergarten through the second grade students could get in on the fun and learning as well. Flower pots and bulbs now line the sidewalks out in the front of the school, and next spring we will see the first flowers emerge from their beautification efforts. The tree saplings will take a couple of years to start showing significant growth, but in about 3 years they will really begin to take off, Elliott said. By the time Dynasty Elementary's current kindergartners are ready to enjoy the big kids' playground, they should have had some shady branches to help keep them cool. But the work doesn't stop there, Elliott said. The school also hosts an asphalt benches and in further to create an outdoor classroom where the teachers can bring their students on nice days.
And I've got two little articles. Class reunion, 1975. The Hope County High class of 1975 is planning its 40th year reunion. We are searching for our members and contact information. Please respond with contact information to Trini Books, that's TRINYBOOKS at AOL.com, GBHILL27 at gmail.com, 910-213-7110 or 910-977-9076 or 910-978-4455. 1977. Hope County High School class of 1977 will meet every Monday at 7 p.m. at Virgil's Drive-In. Any interested classmate may call James Quick at 910-273-1863. 1998. Planning for the class of 1998 reunion has been completed. Please contact April Bratcher at 336-841-5388 or 336-338-2286 cell, or Damon Williams at 910-690-6707 ASAP so we can get an information packet to you via mail or email. And another article on stopping crime, we hope. Juvenile Crime Prevention Council seeks programs to apply for funds. The Hope County Juvenile Crime Prevention Council is looking for community programs who want to reduce and prevent juvenile crime. The JCPC board is appointed by the Hope County Board of Commissioners and has monthly meetings which are open to the public. And all business is considered public information. It still has funds available to allocate. $47,457 for the remainder of this fiscal year. JCPC members work in several communities that review the needs of juveniles in the county, determine the services needed to address these problem areas, develop a request for proposal for services in need, evaluate program performance, and submit a written funding plan to the county commissioners for approval. The board is looking for programs that will serve delinquent and at-risk youth beginning on or after January 1st, 2018. The use of these funds in this county requires each program to provide a 10% local match. Anyone interested in joining the JCPC or putting in an application by the November 30th deadline, well, sorry about that. Well, I guess that doesn't count then. Okay, Evelyn, you got anything else? Evelyn, do you have anything?
The Hope County girls and boys basketball teams have kicked off the regular season and are 2 games in through the last night's games versus E. Smith, which was not completed at press time. And the girls are 0-2 and the boys are 2-0. First, the Lady Bucks under new head coach LaToya Ray fought a tough battle last Wednesday night against Grays Creek and fell 51-25. Mahogany Matthews led the way with 8 points, 9 rebounds, and 1 block in the loss. The Lady Bucks traveled to Southview Thursday and came away with a 9-point loss, 40-31. Matthews led the way again in the game with 20 points, 16 rebounds, 5 steals, and 3 blocks. On the boys' side, the Bucks handled Graves Creek 90-61 in front of an excited home opener crowd at McDonald Gymnasium, and then followed that up with the destruction of Southview 77-23 in Hope Mills. In the Graves Creek game, Dakari Johnson led the way, 15 points, followed by Jalen Love with 13, Kevin Thrope with 12, Silas Love with 11. Southview game, Johnson led the way again with 12 points. And Love brothers, Silas and Jalen both had 10 each. The boys will be playing the Coaches versus Cancer Shootout at UNC Asheville this Saturday against Christ School at 4 o'clock p.m. For more information, visit www.northcarolinabca.com. Love sides at UNC Pembroke. Silas Love, a senior standout on the Bucks basketball team, signed his nation letter of intent to play college ball at UNC Pembroke last week. Silas thanked his mom and dad and coaches Kwame Patterson and AAU coach Matt McGregor for helping him get where he is today. He plans to major in computer science and tells younger kids to work hard and give 100% all time. But Silas, during the signing, his front row and left of him is Maria Love, his mom. Silas Tori Love, his dad is on the right, and background left and right, Carrington Banks' friend Tamara Love, sister Jalen Love, brother Brian Johnson, friend. His goal this year is to help Hope compete for a state championship.
Okay, museum hosts Robinson Group. Robinson County Genealogical Society. Whee! That's my group. Well, except I'm Cumberland County. Visited the Rayford Hope Museum recently to hear of the museum's history and plans. The visitors were particularly interested in the historical and genealogical records available on site, which can benefit members whose ancestors lived in the area of Robinson County that became part of Hope County in 1911. RCGS was founded to promote genealogical research, to aid family historians in their search, and how to record their findings in the proper way. The Society meets the first Saturday of January, March, May, September, November, and December at 2 p.m. in the McLean Road room of the Robinson County Public Library in Lumberton, unless a special event has been planned. Anyone of any age who is interested in discovering family connections who may have lived in Robinson County is welcome to any meeting. The Society also hosts a Facebook page. And another little tiny article. Lumber Bridge Choral Program is December 3rd and 4th. The Lumber Bridge Community Choir's handbells and instruments will be held Sunday, December 3rd and Monday, December 4th at Lumber Bridge Presbyterian Church. The annual presentation is in its 41st year and will feature a special arrangement of familiar Christmas carols sung by children, youth, and adults, with accompaniment by piano, handbells, and other instruments under the direction of Marvin Lynn Maxwell. The free program will be held December 3rd at 5 p.m. and December 4th at 7 p.m. and that's free, and so that's a good price. Real estate broker awarded. Dixie Mabe, associate broker with Exit Realty Preferred in Rockfish, was honored with the Bronze Award by Exit Realty Corporation International. The award was given in recognition of closing 25-plus real estate transaction sides during the production year ending in June. Exit Realty sets the bar high in everything we do, and especially in the criteria we've established for winning awards. It takes hard work, skill, and determination to achieve the upper echelons of any profession. Dixie is an exceptional real estate professional and among the top in our industry, said Tammy Bunnell, CEO, Exit Realty Corporation International. Okay.
4th Annual Winter Classic season in the books. They came as far away as New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Ohio for the 4th Annual Winter Classic last Friday and Saturday nights at Rockfish Speedway, and the purse was not something to shake a stick at, with $3,000 or more total purse, and over 120 cars showed up for the first two-night event. In the first race in the 270s, Tyler Reinhardt from New Jersey led from start to finish and took home the win for the second year in a row. Stone Keller finished second. Nick Skias finished third. Mason Peters finished fourth. And Tom Kunman Jr. finished fifth. In the 22-car field in the 600s, Tom Frechetta from Pennsylvania took home his first win and $1,000 as he led from start to finish. On Saturday night, Nick Skias from Pennsylvania took home his first win in 270s when leaders Tyler Reinhardt and Stone Keller, both running 1 and 2, ran out of gas with 2 laps to go and allowed Skias to take the checkers. In the grand finale for the race and the season, Tom Kunman from Pennsylvania won the $1,000 purse in the 600s, followed by Tim Buckwater, Matt Carr, the highest local finisher, Tim Knight, and Doug Snyder. Track announcer Larry Long said, "We got it in and put on a tremendous show for Rockfish and Hope County, and our little racetrack is receiving national press and doing something that Hope County should be proud of for the future. We hope that everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving and Christmas."
Okay, I just dropped my newspaper on the floor. I'm sorry. I dropped my newspaper on the floor, and we have run out of all the articles in the News Herald, so I'm going to start with the Dunn Daily Record. My issue is November 24th, 25th, 26th. This is the weekend edition.
I'm going to go get somebody for the second hour.
Okay, and I am going to start with, what article am I going to start? Okay, log truck kills pedestrian, by Tom Warner of the Record staff. A pedestrian died in Lillington after being struck by a log truck Wednesday in one of the county's busiest intersections. It sounds like the ones that they're going to make new, they should make new turning roads for. According to Lillington Police Chief Frank Powers, Joyce Corso, 75, of Ocala, Florida, was hit by an unloaded log truck as she walked at the intersection at Front and Main Streets in Lillington. The truck, driven by Elias Gonzalez Jr., 22, of Clinton, was turning right from Front Street onto Main Street when the accident occurred. The victim, visiting in the city in the area for the Thanksgiving holiday, died instantly. The driver was uninjured. Mr. Gonzalez now faces charges of failure to lead to a pedestrian and misdemeanor death by motor vehicle. Though she doesn't have specific information on Wednesday's accident, Sharona Stokes, the owner of the county seat which sits at the intersection, indicated high speeds are a problem there. Many county seat employees and customers use the intersection. It is 20 miles per hour in downtown Lillington, and I truly wish that they would permanently detour all the 18-wheelers down North NC 27 and down 10th Street so that they do not come through our downtown business district, Mrs. Stokes said. Chief Powers said speed was not a favor in the accident.
And this is the Dunn Daily Record from Wednesday, November 22nd, 2017. And Coates hires new town manager. After a 6-month search, the mayor and Coates Town Board have named a new town manager. The new manager is Nick Holcomb, who currently serves as town manager in Randleman. During a special called meeting Monday and after a closed session, the town board voted to name Mr. Holcomb as the town new manager. During this process, the town board decided to do away with the requirement that required the town manager to live within a 10-mile radius of the town. Mr. Holcomb will commute each day from Raleigh. Mayor Walter Weeks acknowledged that it became a challenge to hire a candidate with the requirement that they must live in Coates. Mr. Holcomb, who accepted the Mayor Weeks job offer, will begin his duties with Coates the first part of January. His annual salary will be $72,000. That would include a $300 per month car allowance and a $50 per month cell phone allowance. In his current position, he earns an annual salary of $66,000. Mr. Holcomb has an impressive record with the town of Randleman. I know that he will fit well with the town of Coates, Mayor Weeks said. Mr. Holcomb has served as the town manager in Randleman for 4 years and brings a wealth of experience and education to this position. He earned his undergraduate degree in geography with a minor in city planning from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill and his master's degree in city and regional planning from Clemson University. I look forward to coming to the town of Coates, Mr. Holcomb said. Board members had chosen a town manager back in July when they selected the former town manager of Rolesville, Brian Hicks. However, he rescinded the offer in August. Coates had offered him a salary of $85,000, which was less than the salary of $110,250 that he was earning in Rolesville. Hicks currently works for Wake County ABC. The position for a town manager became available after Kenneth Cole submitted his resignation in April. Mr. Cole left Coates to take the town manager's position in Jamestown. He had been manager in Coates for 7 years, and while serving as the town manager in Coates, Mr. Cole earned an annual salary of $69,300. In his current role as town manager in Jamestown, he earns an annual salary of $90,000. During the meantime, Town Clerk Karen Wooten served as the interim town manager, while Connie Searle served as part-time interim town clerk. Mayor Weeks said he remained hopeful the town would hire a new town manager by the end of his term as mayor. December will be Mayor Weeks' last board meeting as mayor. He served as mayor for 8 years. Fun facts about Mayor Weeks. Favorite color? Campbell orange. Favorite food? My wife's Brunswick stew. If you could travel to any place in the world, where would you go? Nova Scotia. The last book read was Wanted Man by Jack Reacher. Favorite song? Time in a Bottle by Jim Croce. It was played at my wedding. If you could have dinner with someone famous, U.S. House Speaker Paul Ryan and Nancy Pelosi, I'd like to sit with them until they could come up with an agreement. If a movie could be made about your tenure as mayor, what would that movie be called? Approaching Peace.
A couple of those are really interesting. Okay, honoring farmers. Oh wait, we need to do the thing. You've got the sheet. I don't have it. We're going to do the station break as soon as we can find the directions here.
This is the Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service, a United Way partner agency. We broadcast from the campus of Fayetteville State University, and our signal is carried by WUNC Chapel Hill. As a nonprofit agency, we rely on public donations. We request your support to continue our services. When making charitable donations, please keep the Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service in mind. Our address is P.O. Box 35029, Fayetteville, North Carolina 28303. If you have any questions or comments, please call us at area code 910-672-1600 or toll free at 1-844-709-5656. Your radio hosts are
Carolyn
and Robert, and we are proud to serve you today.
Okay, honoring farming's finest. Agriculture Community presents awards by Tom Warner of the Record Staff. The Harney County Agricultural Committee honored those who have made significant contributions to the farm community at an awards banquet this week. Awards were presented at the annual Farm City Banquet, which was held near Lillington. The event is held each year during the week of Thanksgiving. The prestigious Farm Family of the Year award went to the Cameron family from the barbecue area of western Harnett County. The family grows a variety of crops, including tobacco, small grains, poultry, and beef cattle. Brian Cameron accepted the award alongside his wife, Melissa. Harnett County Extension Agent Brian Parrish presented the award. Brian is a great person to work with. Are they both named Brian? Yeah, they're both named Brian. Well, Brian and Brian. Brian is a great person to work with and is a good neighbor, Mr. Parrish said. He is easygoing and always willing to help a hand. Okay, Farm City. Oh, here we go. The continuation. Mr. Cameron said he is grateful and thankful for the sacrifices his parents and other family members have made as they continued the tradition of the farm. His parents, Ricky and Betty Cameron, are still active in running the farm. It is a blessing for me to be able to continue what my family started, Mr. Cameron said. He was not expecting the award. I am humbled that someone thought enough of us to give us this award, Mr. Cameron said. Mr. Cameron also noted the contributions of his grandparents. His grandfather, Alex M. Cameron, was also a farmer who served in the Harnett County Board of Commissioners, the Harnett County Board of Education, and the Natural Resources and Conservation Service Board. Brian Cameron's maternal grandparents, Roger and Lillian Thomas, were also farmers in Lee County. His paternal grandmother, Bona Arnold Cameron, was a teacher at Behaven Elementary School. And while they're talking about the family, I believe he is a descendant, if I'm correct, of Alex Cameron, who was of Alexander Cameron, who was in the Revolutionary War. The land Mr. Cameron farms was first used by his great-grandparents. The annual Friend of the Farmer Reward was presented to Lillington's Betty Lee. She received the award for her noted for her work with the local beekeeping association. She has served as treasurer of the organization and has been instrumental in its growth. Bees are essential to the pollination process of local crops. She is also noted for her contributions to the twice annual Ag Science Field Day. She is not just a friend to farmers, she is a friend to everyone, Harnett County Horticulturalist Agent Matt Jones said. Mrs. Lee is involved in several other activities in the community, including serving as both a deacon and a Sunday school teacher at Lillington Baptist Church. There was a new award at this year's banquet, with the Innovative Farmer of the Year award going to Broadway area farmer Ryan Patterson. He won the award for his system of treating tomato and tobacco greenhouses. He has a special boiler fueled by wood chips, often taken from discarded materials on his farm. Mr. Patterson also uses a grid-based fertilizer program which allows him to treat more specific areas. By targeting only weak spots in his field, Ryan not only avoids unnecessary and costly average application of fertilizer in line, but over time improves the overall nutrient profile and soil quality of entire fields, Horticultural Agent Matt Jones said. The Lillington Kiwanis Club presented the annual Farm City Scholarship to Dalton Lee Davis. Dalton is a student at Western Harnett High School where he has been involved in multiple agricultural-related activities. He received his award from Lillington Kiwanis member Steve Plummer. Dalton intends to major in turf grass management either at Sand Hills Community College or North Carolina State University. He currently works at the Carolina Trace Country Club in Sanford, learning the craft of turf management. The annual Farm City Week poster contest winners were also announced Tuesday night. This year's winners are first place Emily Grover, Allison Williams, and Sadie Broadwell. Interim Harnett County Extension Director Bill Stone presided at the event and said it is the highlight of the year for the Agricultural Committee. This is a tradition in our county, and we are excited to see so many people here, Mr. Stone said. The Blaylock Barn near Lillington was nearly filled with attendees at this year's Farm City banquet. The event was catered by Ron's of Barn of Coats.
Thanksgiving blessings with Jimmy Parker. As we all know, the Thanksgiving holiday is a great time of the year to give thanks for all the wonderful blessings we have received over the years. It is the official kickoff to the Christmas season and a time to reflect on some of the most memorable Thanksgiving holidays we have shared with family members and remember those family members who are no longer with us but made the holiday memorable in more ways than we can ever imagine. At my age, I have seen my share of Thanksgiving holidays, so in searching my memory banks, it's hard to pick out one Thanksgiving day that sticks out above all others. But for my wife Laura and me, Thanksgiving Day 1994 is one we will surely never forget. Aside from the fact this was our first Thanksgiving and her first with some of the characters in my family, the culture shock is something that has lasted her a lifetime and is a true testament to her loyalty, considering she married me and my family cast of characters 6 months later. In 1994, I lived with my father in Greensboro, and traditionally the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, my dad and his favorite uncle, Bill, who would visit from Maryland, would throw a huge pre-Thanksgiving party. On the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, the only turkey you could smell in the house was the open bottle wild turkey, and the aroma was not for the faint of heart. Uncle Bill also carried his own brand of special cigarettes that he kept in the secrets box that put off an aroma that was foreign to Laura and burned her eyes every time she opened my bedroom door. Whenever Uncle Bill was in town, I had to give up my bedroom and move to the pull-out couch in the study. A small price to pay for the entertainment value my Uncle Bill brought to the holidays. Needless to say, the Thanksgiving party of 1994 was one for the ages and lasted until the wee hours of the morning. Now, if the Thanksgiving Eve party wasn't enough culture shock for my future wife, Thanksgiving Day would be the icing on the cake when my grandmother and her husband, Dewey, made the short 45-minute drive from Madison to enjoy Thanksgiving dinner with us. My grandmother's husband, Dewey, was not my biological grandfather, but he treated me like one of his own, allowing me to work with him in the summer months when I was a teenager, and occasionally slipping me one of his cold Miller High Lifes when the heat of the day got too much to handle. Now, Dewey was a great guy, but Dewey drank Miller beer from sundown to sundown, and Thanksgiving Day was no exception. Dewey carried around a small igloo cooler filled with ice and 6 beers everywhere he went, and was never caught empty-handed. Now, the fact that Dewey was a beer lover was certainly nothing alarming to Laura, but the fact that Dewey chased down his cranberry sauce with a cold Miller was something that turned Laura's face several shades of green. Now, to say Laura had never seen anyone chase their cranberry sauce with beer is an understatement. Admittedly, the fact that we were feeling the effects of the party the night before played a role in Laura's sheer horror of the event. She will be the first to admit she had doubts about the family she was about to marry into, and with good reason. After special cigarettes, Miller beer with a cranberry shooter, and endless shots of wild turkey, we survived that Thanksgiving in 1994, and Laura learned to accept my father's side of the family and to love the crazy cast of characters who made Thanksgiving 1994 one she will never forget. Gone but not forgotten are the characters we shared our first Thanksgiving with, although, as my dad used to say, I would surely love to do it one more time. From my family to yours, I would like to wish you a happy Thanksgiving and invite you to enjoy the festive nature of this holiday season with or without Miller beer and cranberry sauce. Mr. Parker lives in Irwin. You can contact him at jimmyprng@gmail.com.
And we've got an article here, Church Leaders Get Lesson in Security. Apparently Dunn also feels it's important, but we read that last hour for the Rayford newspaper. But instead, I'm going to tell you about Christmas on Broad and Beyond returns to downtown Dunn. Once the leftover Thanksgiving turkey and dressing have been put away, revelers have recovered from tryptophan-induced comas, and the madness of Black Friday has passed. It is time to relax and enjoy the beauty of the Christmas season. Downtown Dunn is already decked out in its Christmas finery, ready to welcome shoppers and diners for the traditional hometown Christmas celebration during the Sunday's annual Christmas on Broad and Beyond from 1 until 6 p.m. Oh, during this Sunday. That's already happened. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to tell you about that. Well, let's see. That's also happened. Excuse me, I didn't think. Okay. Motorcyclist dies in crash near his home. A motorcyclist was killed in a single vehicle accident Tuesday night in Johnston County. The collision was reported just after 10 p.m. in Old Fairground Road near Zach's Mill Road outside of Benson. Troopers said Adolph William Baca, 49, of Angier, crossed the center line in a turn on the roadway, ran off the roadway to the left, struck a ditch bank, and was ejected. Mr. Baca was pronounced dead at the scene. He lived just a couple of miles away from the accident scene. The North Carolina Highway Patrol is still investigating the incident. And the town of Irwin Tree Lighting Monday, that's today. The town of Irwin Tree Lighting is being held Monday at 6:30 p.m. on the H Street parking lot. You can still get there. There will be performances by the Triton Showstoppers, Gentry Primary and Irwin Elementary students, Cape Fear Christian Academy Band, and Janice's Fabulous Feet. Wow, wonder if the rest of Janice also shows up. Tim Morris will be the master of ceremonies and light the tree. There will be remarks from Mayor Patsy Carson, Afterwards, Christmas carols will be sung and hot chocolate will be served at Santa's house next to Irwin Gazebo. Okay, take it away.
A political cartoon. It says the Charlie Rose interview. Charlie Rose is sitting at a table in his chair. He has his paper in front of him and a glass of water, and he has that look at his guest with his hand slightly raised, and there's a mirror in front of him, and he says, "Why do so many powerful men behave like pigs?" Rick's Ramblings with Rick Curl. That was a truly special Thanksgiving. With a Thanksgiving feast upon us, I wanted to share a little story about something that happened a very long time ago. No, this is not about the Pilgrims. It's about a time when things were, for lack of a better expression, less hectic at Thanksgiving. For 30 years, my loving wife and I spent the holiday at a dinner table somewhere. Whether it was ours or someone else's, we were there. With her passing this past summer, it left me to ponder the past. Not so much about the memories of our Thanksgivings past, but rather about my own. Long before I met Donna, long before we went out that first night, long before I got into journalism, I was in the Army, as most of you know. Being in the military means many holidays away from home, especially since I was stationed in Germany for 2.5 years. Nuremberg is a rather large and historic city, and for the most part is welcoming to anyone who comes to our doorstep. That included the men and women of the U.S. Armed Forces who took up residence in Nuremberg's many posts. My time was spent at Murrell Barracks on the south side, hence the name Südkaserne, translated South Kaserne, and that was the home of the 2nd Armored Cavalry Regiment, the 317th Field Artillery, and a few other units. Often during holidays, out-of-country military posts are in a sort of limbo, especially for single soldiers. You have no family there to share the time, only your fellow troops. We were family then, and we are family now, just in a different way. One Thanksgiving in particular sticks in my mind. It was 1980, and I was nearing the end of my tour in Europe. That Thanksgiving started out like most during my time in Nuremberg. I got up, ate breakfast, then headed back to my room. From there, it was anticipating the Thanksgiving feast the mess hall would provide. Turkey, dressing, mashed potatoes, all the trimmings. What they didn't tell us was the special guests who were coming. There we were, just a bunch of glorified teenagers and young adults standing or sitting around the barracks, mostly just watching the paint crack, when suddenly a rumor began that someone had made arrangements for a special guest to come and eat with us. I'm going to hold off telling you for just a few paragraphs who it was. The first thoughts were disbelief, followed by doubt, then followed by I'll believe it when I see it. It took about 2 hours from the time I heard the rumor until a pair of red and white buses rolled through the main gates of our little concern, then turned left and headed for the back door of our mess hall. As we all made our way to see if the rumors were true, as they were quickly becoming truth and later a folk tale among us, we watched Charlie Daniels and his band step off the bus and grab a place in line to eat with us. You can imagine the number of people who suddenly were hungry for a second time that day. Most holidays, it was an open mess hall all afternoon, and you could eat as many times as you wanted. Mr. Daniels took his place in line and got his food along with the rest of the band and the roadies. The group proceeded to grab a rather large table in the center of the mess hall and sit down. As they ate, some people asked for autographs and photos, while others just sat back. Mr. Daniels never refused a single autograph between bites. His press people had brought plenty of photos for him to sign, so everyone who wanted a picture of him got it signed. Most of the early part of his stay was signing between bites, but as the day wore on, he finished his meal, then turned his chair and told his agent we're staying for a while. Over the next 2 hours, he spoke with everyone within sight. Officers came to eat with enlisted, which was unusual, to get their turn. The time he gave to us to help make our holiday a little more special, and to get his first American-style meal in quite a while, was everlasting. I guess that's why I'll always be a fan of the Charlie Daniels Band. Not for a great performance he gave, but rather for the humanity, kindness, and generosity he gave. I've always remembered that Thanksgiving as one of the best ever for me and about 350 other people who not only ate with him, talked with him, and listened to him perform later that night, but also allowed him to join our exclusive little club. Not veterans, just hungry Americans in a land far away. Thanks, CDB, for all you did. Rick Curl is a reporter with the Daily Record. You can reach him by calling area code 910-230-2 6037, or you can email rcurl@mydailyrecord.com.
Okay, that was awfully nice. I'm glad, and I've always heard Charlie Daniels was a good guy. I'm glad to have proof of that. Okay, this is another warning for you. Holiday road safety from the Harnett County Department of Public Health. Stay safe on the roads by taking action to protect yourself and your loved ones. In the United States, motor vehicle crashes are a leading cause of death for people aged 1 to 55, and more than 37,000 were killed in crashes in 2016, according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. However, many of these deaths can be prevented. Public health officials with the Harnett County Health Department and the Child Fatality Prevention Team are working to inform and to encourage drivers to buckle up, drive sober, and stay safe on the roads this holiday season. Protect yourself and your little ones during this holiday season. Motor vehicle injuries are a leading cause of death among children, but you can make a difference. Buckle children in age and size appropriate car seats, booster seats, and seat belts. These reduce the risk for serious and fatal injuries in a car crash by more than half. Children are safest when car seats and booster seats are used correctly. Remember that children aged 12 and younger should be properly buckled in the back seat. Set a good example by always wearing a seatbelt yourself. Public health officials are encouraging parents to remind your teen about the dangers of texting and using a phone while driving. Encourage your teen to pay attention to the road at all times. It's not just teens, I'm afraid to admit. Use a seatbelt in every seat, on every trip, no matter how short. Get in some supervised driving time with your teen over the holidays. If you have a teenage driver in your family, take advantage of resources that identify ways to help your teen stay safe on the road. Tips. Here are some tips to help keep you and others safe on the road over the holidays. Use a seatbelt in every seat on every trip, no matter how short. Make sure children are always properly buckled in the back seat in a car seat, booster seat, or seat belt, whichever is appropriate for their age, height, and weight. Choose not to drive while impaired by alcohol or drugs, and help others do the same. Obey speed limits. Drive without distractions, such as using a cell phone or texting. For more information, log on to the Health Department's website, located at www.harnett.org/health, or call the Health Department at 910-893-7559. And you know, today, this afternoon, I was guilty of that. I was driving to a drive-in eating place and was testing my blood sugar on the way and not paying as much attention as I should have been. Shame on me.
Dear Abby with Abigail Van Buren. Dear Abby, I live with my fiance and we are being married in 8 months. When I asked him if he would go and stay with his parents or some friends on a weekend when my girlfriend comes into town so we can have girl time, he got highly offended and said he isn't leaving his house. I pay more than he does in rent, and I don't feel I should have to rent a separate place. He doesn't understand girl time, drinking wine, watching chick flicks, and talking about our lives. I want to dedicate all my time that weekend to being a good friend, but he doesn't get it. I've told him that if he ever wanted me to go stay with friends or visit my parents so he could have a guy's weekend, I would have no problem with it. Am I asking for too much? Needs girl time in North Carolina. Dear Needs, yes, I think expecting your fiancé to leave when your girlfriend comes to visit is a bit much. Do you plan to make the same request after you are married? Regardless of who pays more rent, the house is home to both of you. I think that the idea of being subjected to one of your girl's weekends, the wine, the chick flicks, the gossip, would motivate him to make other plans. However, because he is unwilling, you and your girlfriend should consider splitting the cost of a hotel room for the weekend, which might be more enjoyable for all three of you. Dear Abby, over the last 13 years in his job, my husband developed a very friendly relationship with a clerical person. Now that she has retired, she wants to continue it by meeting with him and me for dinner. We have had dinner together once, and when they began to talk shop, I've become the odd one out. Although I interjected myself into the conversation, it was clear there is real feeling between them. He says she's just so nice. She continues to send emails addressed to both of us and asks me, since he is not computer savvy, to relay that she misses him greatly and he was her ray of sunshine every day when he would walk in the office. Should I be worried, jealous, or envious? It is only now I have become aware that she was so important to my husband at work. I had no knowledge about their relationship before. Uncertain in New Jersey. Dear Uncertain, I don't think you have anything to worry about. That the conversation at dinner revolved around the office is not surprising. The office and a job were the basis of their relationship. Because she's sending emails addressed to both of you, I doubt she's trying to slip anything past you or make a play for your husband. Be patient. With time, I suspect she will adjust to the loss of her ray of sunshine. Dear Addie, I'm 12 and I'm depressed. I've been depressed for a year now. I have not told my mom that I cry in the shower. Please guide me on what to do and help get me out of this dark hole. Sad in San Diego. Dear Sad, I'm so glad you wrote. It's very important that you tell your mother or some other trusted adult that you are depressed and how long this has been going on. You may need counseling or the intervention of some other adult to fix this problem. Please don't wait, and please do write again and let me know how you're doing. I care.
Yeah. Think of It program celebrates 1 year of serving veterans. More than 1,000 veterans have stopped by the Johnston County Register of Deeds office to obtain their Think of It photo ID cards. Register of Deeds Craig Ollie started the program November 1st, 2016, in order to honor veterans by offering them an alternative to carrying their DD-214 passage discharge paperwork in their pockets. This card, when presented, entitles them to discounts or incentives from over 100 participating county businesses. This is an effort to show these veterans that we appreciate their service to our country. One of the responsibilities of the Register of Deeds office is to record veteran certifications of discharge, DD-214, in Johnston County. The Think of It program serves as an incentive for veterans to record their DD-214. Recording the DD-214 ensures safekeeping of this important document and will not become a public record. Many veterans are not eligible for a VA card or any other type of military ID, therefore are not able to take advantage of the military discounts. This card will allow those veterans security in knowing their personal documents are safe without risk of identity theft or damage to their DD-214. One special veteran had tears in his eyes as he received his Think of It card. He told the Register of Deeds staff that he was spit on upon his return from Vietnam and felt so humbled to have his service honored in this way. Mr. Olive encourages all veterans to stop by to record their DD-214 and obtain their Think of It card. In addition, the office also encourages county merchants to contact the office to sign up to be participating businesses. The Register of Deeds office is open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and can be reached at 919-989-5161. Mr. Olive states, "It is an honor to provide this program to our well-deserving veterans that stood up and fought for our country. It has been a great success so far, and it will continue as long as I am in office." I think that's a wonderful thing. I filed my DD-214 here in Cumberland County when I got out of the service. I was not aware of all the things you get, and now I have a vet card. So don't need their Think of It program, but it's a really good thing. There are many who need that.
And this is the Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service, a United Way partner agency. We broadcast from the campus of Fayetteville State University, and our signal is carried by WUNC Chapel Hill. As a nonprofit agency, we rely on public donations. We request your support to continue our services. When making charitable donations, please keep the Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service in mind. Our address is P.O. Box 35029, Fayetteville, North Carolina 28303. If you have any questions or comments, please call us at area code 910-672-1600 or toll free at 1-844-709-5656. The radio hosts are
Carolyn.
and Robert, and we are proud to serve you today. Savvy Senior with Jim Miller. Social Security options for divorced spouses. You may be eligible for a divorced spouse's Social Security benefits if you meet certain criteria. Dear Savvy Senior, as a divorced woman, am I entitled to my ex-husband's Social Security benefits? I was married for 14 years and would like to know how this works. Happily divorced. Dear divorced, yes, you may very well be eligible for a divorced spouse's Social Security benefits if you meet certain criteria. Here's how it works. A divorced spouse can collect a Social Security retirement benefit on the earnings record of their ex-husband or ex-wife if you are at least age 62, are married for at least 10 years, are unmarried, and are not eligible for a higher benefit based on your own earnings record. In order to collect, your former spouse must also be at least 62 and eligible for Social Security benefits. But he doesn't have to be receiving them in order for you to collect divorced spouse's benefits, as long as you've been divorced for at least 2 years. Even if your ex is remarried, it won't affect your right to divorce benefits, nor will it affect your ex's retirement benefits or his current spouse's benefits. Benefit amount. A divorced spouse can receive up to 50% of their ex's full Social Security benefit, or less if they take benefits before their full retirement age, which is 66 if you were born between 1943 and 1954. To find out your full retirement age and see how much your benefits will be reduced by taking them early, see ssa.gov/planners/retire/retire chart.html. Keep in mind, though, that if you qualify for benefits based on your own work history, you'll receive the larger of the two benefits. You cannot receive benefits on both your record and your ex's work record, too. To find out how much your retirement benefits will be, see your Social Security statement at ssa.gov/myaccount. And to get an estimate of your ex's benefits, call Social Security at 1-800-772-1213. You will need his Social Security number to get it. Divorced survivor. You also need to know that if your ex-spouse dies and you were married for 10 or more years, you become eligible for divorced survivor benefits, which is worth up to 100% of what your ex-spouse was due. Survivor's benefits are available to divorced spouses at as early as age 60, 50 if you're disabled, but if you remarry before 60, you become ineligible unless the marriage ends. Remarrying after age 60 will not affect your eligibility. Also note that if you are receiving divorced spouse's benefits when your ex-spouse dies, you will automatically be switched over to the higher paying survivor benefit. Switching strategies. Being divorced also offers a switching strategy that can help boost your benefits if you were born on or before January 1st, 1954. Here's how it works. If you worked and are eligible for benefits on your own earnings record, you can file a restricted application with Social Security at age 66 to collect a divorced spousal benefit, which is half of what your ex gets. Then once you reach 70, you stop receiving the ex-spousal benefit and switch to your own benefit, which will be 32% higher than it would have been at your full retirement age. Unfortunately, as a result of the Bipartisan Budget Act of 2015, this option is not available if your birthday is January 2nd, 1954 or later. Divorced widows and widowers also have switching options regardless of your birthday. If, for example, you are currently collecting Social Security retirement benefits on your own record and your ex-spouse dies, you can switch to survivor's benefits if the payment is larger. Or if you're collecting survivor's benefits, you can switch to your own retirement benefits between 62 and 70 if it offers a larger payment. For more information, visit ssa.gov/planners/divspouse.html or call 1-800-772-1213. Send your senior questions to Savvy Senior, P.O. Box 5443, Norman, Oklahoma 73070, or visit savvysenior.org. Jim Miller is a contributor to the NBC Today Show and author of the Savvy Senior book.
Well, this hour is going much faster than the last hour. I don't know why. Maybe I just like the Dun Daily Record better. Okay, here's Dear Abby again. This is from the weekend edition, November 24th plus. Landlord questioned tenant's claim that he sleepwalks. I am a man who owns a large 4-bedroom home, and I have 2 tenants. One pays the rent on time, helps with cleaning and yard work, and is an all-around great roommate. The other has been here for 4 months, has never paid his rent on time, and always disappears when we must clear off the driveway or do yard work. The major problem I have with this guy is he sleepwalks. At least he claims he does. He opens doors at night. Some mornings I have found the front door or garage door wide open. Additionally, he raids the refrigerator late at night. He claims he doesn't realize he's doing it. It's really annoying to find food I prepared the night before to take to work has been eaten. I have spoken to him about it on numerous occasions, and he claims that he can't control his sleepwalking. I feel he should have told me about these issues prior to signing the lease. None of the references he gave mentioned his sleepwalking. Is it considered a disability? Would I be discriminating against a disability if I chose not to renew his lease because of his sleepwalking? Landlord in Wisconsin. Because doors are being left open, it might be in your best interest to install inexpensive security cameras. Sleepwalking and sleep eating can be symptoms of a sleep disorder, or possibly be caused by certain sleep medications. If your tenant is unaware of this, he should be informed and advised to be evaluated at a sleep disorder clinic. Because he doesn't pay rent on time or do other things expected of him, you may not be obligated to renew his lease. My advice is to talk to a lawyer about how and whether you can get rid of this tenant. Dear Abby, years ago they would never have questioned things like that. Oh well, times move. The times they are changing. Dear Abby, my ex-mother-in-law Blanche takes my 14-year-old daughter Grace shopping often. I was grateful at first, but now she buys her anything she wants. Grace has a high school dance soon, and I was looking forward to shopping with her. But before I could go, Blanche took her and bought her a $299 dress. I wasn't consulted because Grace knew I would have said no. She's a freshman, and that's just way too much money to spend. I asked them to take the dress back, and Blanche said okay. A week later, I called her to explain why I said no, but instead of listening, she told me it was her Christmas and birthday present for Grace, and she wasn't taking it back. My daughter never spends that kind of money. Grace said she was keeping the dress, and I told her she was not wearing it. How will I explain this to my daughter, who has become self-entitled because of her grandmother? Anything she wants. Dear anything, you've already explained it to your daughter. You told her it was too much money to spend. The problem isn't just Grace, it's also your ex-mother-in-law. You were Grace's mother and your wishes should have been respected. I don't blame you for being angry. Okay, take it away.
Kate's Corner with Kate Peacock. Going back to the beginning of Dunn, Kate's view on artifacts featured in the Dunn Area History Museum. For this week's column, we are taking it way back to even before the good old days. That's right, folks, we are going to the very beginning of Dunn. If you're like me, you have often wondered who our founding people were, where they came from, where the name Dunn came from, and our city was like back then. Well, I've done some research at the Dunn Area Museum and have some interesting answers and explanations for you. The original settlers in the Harnett County area were American Indians. They were the Tuscarora tribe, and once they settled and called this area their home, they built houses called round houses and hunted game and went about their daily routines. Resources say they were not nomadic in nature, that they were tranquil and peaceful people. The land consisted of gently rolling hills, characterized more of the same gorgeous longleaf pine trees that we still see in this today. Did you know our city has not always been called Dunn? In the beginning, the area was referred to as Tearshirt. This name came from a fight involving 25 or more men at one of the bar rooms near here. During the fight, one of the men's shirt got torn off, so people called the area Tearshirt. I cannot believe people would name a whole area after an incident that seemed so common, especially back in those days. I would have never guessed this. Another name the area was finally called was Lucknow. Some sources I read suggest that the name came after the name of Tereshurt. The name Lucknow came from a city in India with the same name. How cool is that? No one has been able to determine why our area was named after the Lucknow in India, but the name stuck, and the area downtown where newspaper offices now reside was once known as Lucknow Cotton Yard. A picture of the cotton yard can be found at the museum. Even back in these days, cotton, which was then called King Cotton, was one of our biggest claims to fame. Fast forward several decades, our country was in the middle of the Civil War. Soldiers were all over our city as the Battle of Fayetteville approached. After the battle in 1865, most of the people that had been in Lucknow moved away. The city was officially named Dunn in 1873.
I wonder if that's because it was done.
The name Dunn comes from Mr. Bennett Dunn. You can find a picture of him at the museum. I'm absolutely amazed that I have lived here all my life and did not know this. I knew I was Miss Dunn, but never knew I had a Mr. out there somewhere. He was a famous civil engineer during his time, and the city is named after him because he designed the layout for the railroad that still runs through the area today. Dunn was officially incorporated on February 12, 1887. My family lived downtown Dunn when I was younger. I remember falling asleep to the sound of the train every night. It's so cool to say I now know who designed the tracks. Back in Mr. Dunn's time, the city was a major logging town and turpentine distilling center, which makes sense since the Native American settlers built so many log cabins as their home and with all the pine trees that grew in the area. Be sure to check out the Dunn Area History Museum to see many more artifacts and textbooks about the beginning of our city and beyond. For more information about the Dunn Area History Museum, give them a call at area code 910-891-1772 or pay them a visit at their temporary location at 511 North Ellis Avenue from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Okay, I'm on the editorial page. Tar Heel Editor Speak Out from the Carteret County News-Times. After U.S. Army Sergeant Bowie Bergdahl, 31, pled guilty to misbehavior before the enemy and desertion in combat, the military judge at Fort Bragg handling his court-martial, Army Colonel Jeffrey Nance, sentenced him November 3rd to a dishonorable discharge. The misbehavior charge carried a maximum life sentence, and the charge of desertion carried a maximum 5-year sentence. Sergeant Bergdahl was a deserter and a collaborator with the Taliban. Said Mr. Trump, the decision on Sergeant Bergdahl is complete and total disgrace to our country and to our military. It definitely is. And I, speaking for me, Carolyn, completely agree that it is a disgrace. From the Courier-Times in Roxborough. One of the greatest barriers to growth and development can be regulatory structure that builders and land developers have to navigate to see a project to completion. We understand that some regulation is necessary. After all, we don't want a hog farm built next to a residential neighborhood or a home constructed that doesn't meet basic safety rules. But we are among the first to agree that instituting too many rules in an attempt to respond to every contingency creates an unwieldy system that causes more headaches than it cures. Finding the right balance between too much regulation and not enough regulation is tough. But erring on the side of caution ensures the future won't be stymied. And then from the Goldsboro News Argus. A Republican Senator, Ron Johnson of Wisconsin, came out in opposition to the party's proposed tax bill. Now, it might not pass, but even if it should, a similar bill will still have to pass in the Senate, and the two will need to be merged before a comprehensive reform bill could be presented to Trump, hopefully by Christmas, in order for the president to sign into law before the year is out. Even some Republicans have openly argued that the removal of the bill of certain tax deductions enjoyed by the average American family would hurt the very people that voted Trump and most of the congressional seat-holding officials backing the bill into office. And that is a shame. They were sent there to do better. We agree the tax system is antiquated. We agree the GOP needs to get some things done and done quickly, to stem whatever ground the Democrats are convinced they are gaining with all of these recent gaffes and guffaws. We just aren't seeing it happen. That's it. Enough of that.
Those incredible edibles with Fred Robinson. Blueberries, an important native crop of early settlers. From the Food Reference website, we learn that over the years, many different names have been given to the numerous varieties of Vaccinium that produce those edible fruits we love and call blueberry, including names such as bilberry, cowberry, cranberry, crowberry, farkleberry, lingonberry, partridgeberry, huckleberry, but not the true huckleberry, which is Galusatia, whortleberry, and sparkleberry, to mention a few. For centuries, blueberries were gathered from the forest and the bogs by Native Americans and consumed fresh, but many were also preserved for food in the harsh winter months. The Northeast Native American tribes revered blueberries, and much folklore developed around them. The blossom end of each berry, the calyx, forms the shape of a perfect five-pointed star. The elders of the tribe would often tell of how the Great Spirit sent starberries to relieve the children's hunger during a famine. Parts of the blueberry plant were also used as medicine, and a tea made from the leaves was thought to be good for the blood. Blueberry juice was used to treat coughs and made an excellent dye for baskets and cloth. In food preparation, dried blueberries were added to stews, soups, and meats. Dried berries were also crushed into a powder and rubbed into meat for flavor. A beef jerky called sautati was made with dried blueberries and was consumed year-round. During the 17th century, settlers from England arrived in the New World to begin colonies. They immediately set about clearing the land and establishing farms where they could not only rely solely on supplies from England, but the land and the climate were far different from what they left behind. Many early attempts at farming failed. In the winter of 1620, the Pilgrims established a settlement at Plymouth, and many perished during the first few months, but those that survived went on to build homes and establish working farms. Their neighbors, the Wampanoag Indians, taught the settlers new skills that helped them survive. They showed them how to plant corn and how to gather and use native plants to supplement their food supply. One important native crop was blueberries. The colonists learned from Native Americans how to gather blueberries, dry them under the summer sun, and store them for the winter. In time, blueberries became an important food source and were preserved and later canned. Beverage made with blueberries was an important staple for Civil War soldiers. And as far as that first Thanksgiving goes, regardless of the feel-good legend we have been taught, in which it was the Pilgrims who invited their new friends, the native Wampanoag Indians, for a feast and celebration, listened to how Tim Tuner, a Cherokee and manager of Plymouth Plantation's Wampanoag home site and co-owner of Native Plymouth Tours, says it really went down. What most people do not know about the first Thanksgiving is that the Wampanoag and Pilgrims did not sit down for a big turkey dinner, and it was not an event that the Wampanoag even knew about or were invited to in advance. In September or October of 1621, the Pilgrims had just harvested their first crops, and they had a good yield. They sent 4 men on fowling, which comes from the one-paragraph account by Pilgrim Edward Winslow, one of only 2 historical sources of this famous harvest feast. Winslow also stated, "We exercised our arms." Most historians believe what really happened was Massasoit got word that there was a tremendous amount of gunfire coming from the Pilgrim village, so he thought they were being attacked and he was going to their aid. Turner continues, when the Wampanoag showed up, they were invited to join the Pilgrims in their feast. There was not enough food to feed the chief and his 90 warriors. He, Massasoit, sends his men out, and they bring back 5 deer, which they present to the English chief, William Bradford, of the new English town. So there is this whole ceremonial gift-giving going on as well. When you give it as a gift, it is more than just food, as Kathleen Wall, a colonial foodways culinarian at Plymouth Plantation. Regardless of how you choose to remember and celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope you find a spot on your table for the humble blueberry, just as it undoubtedly was on that first Thanksgiving table all of those years ago. Growing up the 40s in rural Wake and way beyond rural Bladen counties, my parents, aunts, and uncles, and various other family members always reminded me that anybody could grow up to be President of the United States. The older I've gotten, the more I'm starting to believe them. Fred Robinson is the owner of Rabbit Ridge Nursery in Coates. Reach him at Fred, at rabbitridgenursery.com or call area code 910-897-2639.
You know, that about anybody who can grow up to be president reminds me of a joke I heard years and years ago as a child. Franklin Roosevelt proved you could be president forever. Harry Truman proved anybody could be president. And Dwight Eisenhower proved we don't really need a president. Okay, enough political stuff there. Well, not really, because I'm still on the political page. And this is Sound Off. As you know, it's you call in, you got 30 seconds, and then they print it. Prosecute offenders. I just want to sound off about what happened in Alabama. They said Mr. Roy Moore didn't touch those women. Years ago, whenever I was a young lady, I'm 70 years old now, men did molest men and women. Men did molest women, and women were afraid because they knew nothing would be done. There were no laws and no rules. Now, I don't know whether he committed those crimes or not, but if he did, he should pay for them. Not only him, but anyone who took advantage of a woman or a girl against what they wanted. Then they should be prosecuted. Unjust taxes. I was just listening to the people talking about the taxes that people are going to pay, and they said some of them would pay 55%. Do you realize that only leaves them 45 cents out of every dollar they live off of? That's not right. I don't care who does it, it's not right. God says 10% is good enough for him, well then 10% should be good enough for our government. No, they want to keep spending here and spending there and spread over yonder and keep up the whole world. 2 sets of laws. You could see Congress questioning the Attorney General, and you could tell every Republican and every Democrat just by the way they talk. Because all the Democrats are talking about collusion between Donald Trump and Russia. And then the Republicans would talk about Hillary Clinton. Well, you know, there are 2 sets of laws. One for Congress and the Senate and one for us. They don't have to abide by the same laws. Not responsive. The Republicans need to learn something from the Democrats. Every time a Republican gets up there, they answer a question, and every time a Democrat gets up there, they say, I plead the fifth. Look at Louis Lerner. Look at Susan Rice. Look at Hillary Clinton. I can't remember. But there isn't anything ever said about that. The Republicans are so stupid that they'll answer something way out there. Others not repaid. I'm calling in regard to the November 16th article, Split Gun Council approves $8,000 payout for sewer flooding. Well, I'm not opposed that the city should take responsibility to the individual who incurred damage due to a city malfunction of its sewer system during Hurricane Matthew. There's a young couple who live right down the street who just remodeled their home with new flooring. Their insurance company told them that the damage they incurred was due to a city malfunction, the sewer system, and they denied their claim, and they have had to pay to redo flooring and things out of their repair flooring and things in their home out of pocket. Pay all. This is concerning the sewer backup during Hurricane Matthew. If sewers are not the city's obligation, then whose is it? If one person is paid for their sewer backup, then everyone who had a problem should be paid. That sounds fair to me, doesn't it to you? What about me? Can I get my $8,000 damage from Matthew submitted to the Dunn City Council to be paid? Okay, honoring vets. I would like to thank the Sagebrush for feeding the veterans. They did a fantastic job and the food was good, and they made them all feel welcome. Tax all equally. Your Democrats say tax cuts are unfair, gives to the rich. Hey, the rich are the only ones paying it. What they should do is have a straight across the board tax. That sounds good to me. Not a bad dream. I wake up every morning and I think I'm waking up from a bad dream. Then I realize it is not a dream. I can't believe the American people have sunk so low as to elect a man for president who bragged about grabbing women. He's not making America great again. He's making America the laughingstock of the world. The leaders of other countries can't believe someone so dumb is now the president of what used to be a great country. And people who are supposed to be Christians voted for him. protecting taxpayers. I cannot believe what I read in the paper about the Dunn City Council giving $8,000 of taxpayer money to a resident after Hurricane Matthew. The town attorney said the town was not liable for it. And another thing that alarms me is that Commissioner Billy Barfield, who is known to be a guardian of purse strings, voted for this. And I applaud Commissioner Dr. Gwen McNeil and her sentiments that I read in the paper and how she was outraged as well. I thank her for being the guardian of the taxpayers' money. Take it away.
Las Risas saying goodbye Dunn, hello Coates. One town's loss will soon be another's gain when a local restaurant completes a move from Dunn to Coates. Las Risas Authentic Mexican Restaurant will open its doors in Dunn for the last time today. When the doors come open again, it will be under a new name on Main Street in Coates. The new name is not final yet, said Ricardo Nunez, who will add to his current role of manager as part owner of the new restaurant. We are still waiting on the approval, so we've not decided completely yet what it will be called. Mr. Nunez, who came to the United States from Mexico City more than 20 years ago, stresses the name, the location, and perhaps a few additions to the menu will be the only major changes. It will be the same menu with a few new dishes, he said. We have some very loyal customers and we will continue to serve the food they enjoy. The main reason Mr. Nunez and Las Risas will take up new residency is a simple case of too many choices where he's at right now. There are currently 5 restaurants in Dunn that serve Mexican cuisine, which means in cooking parlance, the gravy is getting thin. In the good times, we serve maybe 200 meals or better per day in the first 10 years, he said. Then it started to diminish. Jorge Nunez, Mr. Nunez's brother, opened his first Mexican restaurant in Dunn, a sister operation to Las Risas, bringing not only Ricardo to the area, but setting the stage for other Mexican restaurants, which turned out to be both good and bad. Good in the sense they were restaurants that provided good food, and bad in that there were so many to follow. When he opened this one, it seemed like everyone wanted to come here to Dunn, Ricardo Nunez said. They say 2 Mexican restaurants, okay, it should be a good business. Now, there are 5. So the number of similar restaurants is one reason for the move. Another is that Coates has no Mexican restaurants, something not lost on Mr. Nunez. Coates has no Mexican restaurants, and knowing the surrounding areas within a reasonable drive, he said. Plus a lot of my customers are from that surrounding area. I was asking them where they are from. They were telling me Buies Creek, Angier, Coates, Lillington, Irwin. I didn't realize that many of my customers are from that area. I have many wonderful customers from Dunn also, and I think they will come to see us at the new restaurant. He admits he's worried about hurting customers' feelings by asking his regulars to drive to Coates to enjoy his restaurant's fare, but it was simply a case of survival. I have a lot of people from here, and I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, he said. But I've got to go where it's best to survive. The new location will be in the heart of Coates at 79 East Main Street, and Mr. Nunez says when the move is over, hopefully by Christmas, we'll be back to business as usual, except for the name and location. Everybody asks me if we're going to keep the same menu, and I tell them yes, he said. We will have some changes. Every restaurant has dishes that nobody asks for, or only sometimes, and we have to drop them. Mr. Nunez has promised to keep his current loyal customers up to date on when the new restaurant will open for business. I'll let everyone know through the newspaper and other ways, he said. Make sure everybody knows when we're ready to go. Thinking positive. While there's never any certainty when a new business opens, especially in the food service industry, Mr. Nunez is keeping a positive thought, and above all, he has the hope. You've got the hope, and the hope always exists, and the risk as well, he said. Add your hopes in there, and at the same time, that's a risk. Any business is a risk, and if you're taking the risk, you can lose or you can win. He doesn't plan on losing. We're pretty sure we're going to win, he said. We're away from all of the competition, and it's a promised land right now. The way things are around here at the current time, it's a promised land.
I don't think I have enough time. Do I have enough time for this?
A couple of minutes.
Okay, well, I'll get about part way through this. This is from the church news. Make worship an integral part of the holiday season. The hustle and bustle of the often hectic holiday season can make it easy to overlook religion during this special time of year. Come the holidays, adherents of Judaism celebrate Hanukkah, while many Christians celebrate Christmas. Though different, the two holidays share some similarities. In celebration of Hanukkah, families gather for an 8-day commemoration to honor the rededication of the Second Temple of Jerusalem and a miracle in which a small amount of oil illuminated a menorah for 8 days. Perhaps because it falls during the holiday season, Hanukkah has become one of the most well-known Jewish celebrations, even for those who do not adhere to the Jewish faith. For devout Christians, Christmas isn't about eggnog and Santa Claus. Christmas, Christ's Mass, is a celebration of the birth of Jesus Christ, who Christians believe is the Son of God. Christmas is a day of great joy in the Christian faith because it marks the beginning of Jesus' time on earth. While Hanukkah and Christmas, while joyous celebrations, are laced with solemnity. The Second Jewish Temple was desecrated by Greek Syrians who had erected an altar to Zeus and sacrificed pigs within the sacred walls. At this point in time, Jews had to practice their faith in secret, reading the Torah underground and using their idols to simulate games and confuse Greek soldiers. However, the Jews, led by a small group of rebels known as the Maccabees, persevered, marking the joy of Hanukkah for years to come. The period leading up to Christmas, known as Advent, is a time for repentance and preparation for the grace and miracle of Jesus' birth. According to Christianity.com, the word Advent is derived from the Latin word for Adventus, meaning coming. Advent is a time both to reflect on the past and look forward to the future. Much like Lent, Advent is intended to be a season of fasting, prayer, and reaching out to God. During the holiday season, houses of worship customarily host prayer seasons and special holiday-related events. The faithful are encouraged to participate in these events in celebration of their faith. Prayer can help remove distractions during the holiday season, helping individuals reconnect with the true meaning of the holiday season. Okay.
And this concludes our reading of the Dunn Daily Record and the Rayford News Journal. Your radio host have been
Carolyn
and Robert. Our radio listeners, we will now join the Raleigh Network for additional programming. Thank you for tuning us in. We've enjoyed being with you. Have a wonderful day.